Welcome to LC Africa, the Content Factory. We are yet again back with our weekly dose of sense and noise. This morning, I'm hosting distinguished gentlemen in the media fraternity. We have Joshua Masereka, the managing director for LC Africa, and also our usual suspect, Raymond Tamale from NTV. Can each one of you say hello before I go to a first commercial break?
Hello, my name is Joshua Masereka. As he has told you, I'm the managing director at LC Africa here, as well as a journalist by profession. I'm just here for noise, I think, 70%.
Not sense.
I'm not sure about my sense.
Raymond?
Good morning, everyone who's watching us from wherever you're watching us on YouTube live. My name is Raymond Tamale. I work with the Nation Media Group, particularly NTV, and I'm happy to be back on set to speak sense, not noise. Thank you.
Well, we shall be coming right back after going into a short commercial break. Maganjo Grain Millers, feeding nations.
Mu mutima gwa Uganda mulimu ekimera ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye. Engano ya Jiko nga ekolebwa ab'Amaganjo Grain Millers. Kola ebyokulya eby'omulembe nga okozesa Jiko owoomerwe ne family. Nations. Mu mutima gwa Uganda mulimu ekimera ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye. Engano ya Jiko nga ekolebwa ab'Amaganjo Grain Millers. Kola ebyokulya eby'omulembe nga okozesa Jiko owoomerwe ne family yo.
Platform last week, we had so much at stake. The contest between the speakership bid was between Anita Annette Among and Norbert Mao. Guess what? In a span of 7 days, the tides have changed. We now have Oboth Jacob in the limelight. Now today we are digging deep into the speakership bid and also look at the corruption in parliament. But first, let us first look at the changes that have happened from the PLOE to the swinging in of Oboth. Raymond, did you expect this?
Actually, I think I had a chat with someone that you have in common. I won't mention the name. And, we were speaking about the speaker's race, and we kept on talking about how Tayeba might come in the picture, but none of us thought about Oboth. Rather, there were some statements that were made online about him that he was supposed to come in 2016. Actually, not 2016, 2021.
2021.
Yeah, after passing the age amendment in 2017. So Oboth has been in the picture, but none of us thought about him. And also, I think he's coming at a time whereby he's in the Ministry of Defense, so he's working closely with the CDF, which CDF right now is the power center, I can say, as of now, because I think he's speaking to us in a way that Ugandans are not taking his tweets serious, but he's speaking in the future. And the future is now. So he speaks about something today, and it happens in the future, and he'll be like, first wait, it is happening. But also, it is a kind of a twist because yesterday evening, I think I said later that Norbert Mao is writing to the president, head of caucus, that they should continue considering him to be one of the members who's going to compete for the speakership race. So you can see it's a really big twist. It's not yet done until it's done. Like Oboth said, for some time we thought, if you thought it was not real, now it is more real. So the race is real, but funny how is that the woman who had said that she was not going to go anywhere is out of the race, and she's nowhere to be seen. That is AAA. Yeah.
Now, you look at the way the name Oboth came in. The declaration was first made by PLO at a press conference you attended, where Daudi Kabanda said that PLO, after being guided by the chairman, are withdrawing the support from Anita Among and Thomas Taiwa. A press conference that was done on the very day the president was sworn in. Would you read coordinates as a journalist on why it was done on the same day?
I think for some time the president has been working with the security forces, has been doing some background on the speaker, outgoing speaker, Anita Among. And also, I don't know why, but something rang a bell in my head the time the speaker came to the PLU offices to buy jerseys,
100 million
jerseys for
100 million kids.
100 million kids for the MK birthday run. And she said, I've been hearing people speaking about me becoming president. I want to say those are just rumors. I think for her to come out and speak about that, that's when they knew that she could be having plans, maybe, of becoming a presidential candidate. And also, she said, I've overachieved. So everyone will ask, what do you mean by
Overachieving?
Yeah, because she said, I've overachieved. I feel like even being a speaker, I've overachieved. So it looks peculiar. And then also, funny how is that, okay, I don't know who's advising her. Funny how the same time she was going through all that, then the car comes in. And before the car comes in, someone was shot at her residence. So you look at all the events that are coming.
And reports say that the person who was shot was a detective.
So you look at all the events that are happening and you just look at them in a way that they are just against her, not in support of her. And they are coming in. You could say that they are all as if coordinated, one after another. Going to PLU, buying jerseys, speaking about presidential bids. After that, 1 week after, someone is shot next to your residence. 1 week after, the Rolls Royce is coming in. So you could imagine what is going on with her, and you ask yourself, like, did she think about all this and someone advising her that, you know what, first put a break until you get to be a speaker, then maybe...
Then you unleash all this. Joshua, have you been following the events surrounding the speakership bid and how events have changed in just 7 days?
Yes, I've been following, of course, and for me, as far as Anita Among's tenure has been and how she has conducted herself, I did not think that she would be out of the picture, first of all. Based on the norm that the NRM has been having, that somebody serves serves 2 terms, from deputy speaker to speaker, and then that's been the culture. So I would never think that there would be a surprise whereby someone only serves 1 term and then they are pushed out. That's one thing. And then that's not only that, but just the power that she used to preside over Parliament, how she would speak with confidence, how she would tell everyone that she's going nowhere, how she would conduct. You see, I loved her for conducting Parliament like a classroom.
So you loved her classroom nature of conducting
Parliament. The classroom nature of conducting Parliament, sit down, you shut up. I would look at the Almighty of Parliament, and so I would never think the Almighty would be put down in such a nature. I thought she would come back based on even how she conducted herself in the campaigns. She moved, traversed this whole country, made sure she was the MC on most of the rallies, mobilized all members of Parliament, and seemed like a chief campaigner for some of the MPs. And I don't know if sources are true that she also influenced some declarations of members of Parliament. So that whole energy and the fact that she had all that influence among the MPs, MPs fearing her right from the opposition to Parliament, everyone knelt for her, everyone feared to even say a word. I never thought that we would come to such a time.
Now, Raymond, let me first return to you. Let us now look inside that Friday meeting. Because after PLOE making their own declarations, we understand that the president summoned for a meeting
Yeah.
where she called Anita, she called Kadaga, she called some other few SEC members. We understand even Kadaga was called to teach her how she was running parliament on a very modest budget. Now, how the events turn out from that meeting is what we need to dig into, because we understand that the president asked her where she has been getting her wealth from, and she insisted that she has been making her money in good ways. And the president said, I will send you some auditors, little knowing that the president was going to send the entire forces to dig into her wealth. I want you to first give us your own perspective on how that meeting affected the whole mood, because if Anita had agreed to withdraw there and then, would we have such force against her?
So the Friday meeting happened at Plot 1, which is Nakasero, and it had a few SEC members. Chigom was not in that meeting because he's the deputy chairman of NRM. He was not in that meeting. But the few who were in that meeting, inclusive of Kadaga, it was more like SEC, more like tribunal sitting to discipline one of theirs. Understand? So it so happens that a lot of wealth that has been amassed by the speaker got the attention of not only the president but the public. And you should know, by the way, and that's what people don't think about. The president, like you see how he assented to the sovereignty bill, before he assented to the sovereignty bill, he said, I've been hearing a lot of rally. So the president has the ear for the population, because he believes that at the end of the day of 5 years, I'm going back to the population and they're going to ask me, what have you done for us? So the complaints that kept on coming in from members of parliament, from the public, about how Among has been using money in a way which is not proper to them, got the attention of the president, calling for that meeting. In that meeting, they questioned her, how much money has she spent so far? And also remember, we reached a point whereby Parliament was going to a point whereby they're receiving, in terms of budget, 1 trillion. That's a lot of money. Because if you look at the budget for Ministry of Works and Transport, it is always between 1.7 or 2 trillion. Now this is an institution which is Parliament, which is 1 trillion. Now, aside from that, this was hinged on the fact that they had more staff in Parliament, in all departments, in regards to human resource, communications, and all that, and welfare. Protocol officers, I'm talking about protocol officers. So, when the president asked Kadaga to come in, was more like, I want to understand from you, as the former Speaker of Parliament, how are you running this house on a budget that was really minimal than this one? So, our explanation about how she was running Parliament now raised a lot of questions on how Among was using a lot of money to run Parliament, yet nothing had changed. You understand? Because the building is still under construction. The staff that were there, actually more or less the same. The jobs are still done as supposed to be done by people. The Hansard, Parliament sitting, and all that. So the issue came about whereby, now this is when Agora
Discourse.
Thank you so much. Was coming in before and talked about how corruption was going on in Parliament, whereby money was being swindled, because money was used whereby if I'm the speaker, I'd go to Bwambala and say, I have 100 million. And put 400 million in your account, but when you go to the account, you get 200 is yours. And all this was happening, but Ugandans were not sure. Even us, we have been criticized on X as the media that we don't play our part in terms of criticizing how Parliament was spending money. But there is no way we could come out to criticize Parliament because we don't have authentic documentation to it. You're looking at someone posting something on X, but you don't have documentation.
But at least Monitor has really tried to...
You have tried. Because remember,
put
also
a torch on that Parliament. Because you see, even that story that was blown out of proportion, the Rolls Royce, it is Monitor that did that front page story that hit the last nail in her coffin.
The funny bit
political
about,
coffin.
The funny bit about all this and the conundrum is that you have a woman who is Anita Among, who is very powerful, by the way. She had almost all the MPs on her side. Going into this meeting with the president, and you have none of those clapping for you and supporting you in the background, but you're just alone in that room with the president. And I don't know why, but I feel like at this time in point, the president is not that remorseful in regards to fighting corruption. He might talk about it, and then you feel like maybe he's just talking about it, but he feels like if corruption can go away, maybe you can take back the state where it's supposed to be and have good roads and hospitals. So you look at this person who says, I am the speaker, and you look at what they have. Even you see the story that when Museveni went to Bukedea, he said, my daughter asked me that, I asked my daughter, why did you get the money to build all this house? She said, but you gave me money. I told her, I gave you how much? I don't remember, remind me. Oh, okay, I'll send my people to investigate and see how you got the money. But that means that whenever you have the president's ear, you should be careful about him, because he's speaking interest in you and saying, what is going on with this person that is...
The closer he is to you,
yeah,
the nearer to you.
the distant is from you, the better you are than you.
So, Joshua, we are having that in light. After the meeting, so much fell through. The Wanyondos came and picked the cars from Chigo, and have you been following all that story?
And have you seen the Rolls Royce?
Yes, I've followed all that story in the whole of...
You give us your noise perspective, because you said you're here for noise.
I'm here for noise, by noise perspective, of course. I never knew she had all those houses, first of all, in Kampala. And I am still disturbed by the fact that someone has over... How many houses?
Bukedea, Ntinda, Chigo, Nakasero,
Buziga, Muyenga.
All big villages of Kampala have houses. How do you occupy all these? Are then the causes? So, well, Uganda's fight against corruption and how government always acts about some of these things, investigations, I never thought it would go that deeper because if you look at our history of fighting corruption, sometimes most of the grills, people have been grilled maybe in Kosase, and then Kosase makes a lot, and then there's a lot of noise in the media for about 2-3 months. You remember about Uganda Airline, the other time Bank of Uganda. So those are that's the level at which we've been having a lot of grilling on people who are maybe misusing funds. But we have not seen a scenario where maybe it is State House itself or the president himself going out directly for someone, and then they are grabbing all the cars, they are investigating deeply to as far as how Anita Among his case is going. I just pray that since this has started at the very start of the tenure of the president, actually starting right from the swearing in, I hope much more suspects of corruption get more grilled in these 5 years. If the investigation is genuinely about fighting corruption and not just about power battles.
Now, Raymond, many political commentators are saying this is not about corruption. It is beyond. Because they're saying that there are several people that have been into corruption scandals, and there is no such full might that is put on them like how they have did to AAA. In your own perspective, is this beyond corruption?
It is possible. From what we hear in the corridors from sources that I don't want to mention, is that Anita Among had built a system that is really so good to her. First of all, she had all the MPs on her side, most of them. She had some of the people in security who are aligned to her, and she also had the judiciary with her. And also she had some institutions like, for example, IGG and the Electoral Commission. Remember, when the president is appointing someone, actually, let me take you back. Remember the time when the president appointed the commissioners to go to the Electoral Commission? And Anita Among declined.
There is a 7-year who was ejected.
Declined, and then they took back the names, and then they brought people who are aligned to Anita Among. So she was that powerful, but people never paid attention to her. and they thought maybe it was not called for at that time. But then I think the people who are close to Anita Among, like for example Kabanda, I think they got rather, you can say, shock by the power that she was immersing day by day. Because remember, you have all these MPs who are coming to you on a daily basis. They have problems, they're looking for money, they have constituencies, and telling each one of them, it is okay, we shall handle, it is okay, we shall handle. So you're more like willing the power of the president that you can handle, even when the president cannot handle. You understand? And that is a very bad thing, by the way. So yes, it's corruption, but I think also behind what we cannot see is that they're investigating her over maybe her political posture in the public, that she was getting the public's eye everywhere she goes and all that, and so they had to maybe net her and stop her halfway. So basically that. But also the other twist that I saw in this whole thing of the speakership race is that TT has survived. TT might survive.
That is where actually I was coming. Why has actually the net been cast on Annette alone and leave TT unscathed?
Here, now let us talk about corruption. Here, I can tell you for a fact that whatever the speaker gets, the deputy speaker gets also.
Yeah.
One or another.
But not in equal proportion.
Yeah, not equal proportion. But also, I think also, I was talking to a police officer, and he told me, young man, treat people in a very nice way. That's what the lady told me. Treat people in a very nice way. And I kept on asking her why. She told me, no, treat people in a very nice way because things might change. I think it came to a point whereby maybe people looked at Tayevo as a person who's remorseful, and maybe Anita was not remorseful. You know, when there's this thing that they say that the more you go up the ladder, you might forget the people who you came up with, and then you push them away. But the people who know you genuinely are on the sidelines. Those who don't know you genuinely are closer to you. So maybe the people who are closer to her right now were just looking at her and maybe jubilating that, you know what, hey, you're in things right now, take charge, you understand? But people are supposed to advise her and tell her, you know what, if you're going to bring in the Rolls Royce, hold on. About the houses, hold on. Because none of us actually knew that she had all those homes in her names. Besides that, all of us were driving by Chigo and never knew that that was Anita Among's house. So it was very funny that you see that a person who has been... Okay, also the question about that, she has amassed all that wealth in a space of 4 years. But you should remember also that Anita Among has had money before. The issue is that when she went into being a speaker, I think that money now accumulated more. Because even besides that, even Taiwo has money by now. But I think it's about being humble. Don't be pompous. Be humble. Stay calm. Because at the end of the day, imagine if Among had kept that Rolls Royce. She goes through a speaker. The first business of Parliament after voting for speaker, orientation, she comes in that car.
I think they would still come for her.
Maybe, but it would have been better.
What I want to submit in this is that I appreciate the investigation, for one thing, that it is giving us good orientation to this coming in Parliament. You see, now people, the Parliament that we just left had normalized extravagance, had normalized a lot of arrogance, had normalized a lot of misuse for money and show of might, show of power, show of if that Parliament was in such a way that people had started feeling like a speaker is untouchable, members of Parliament who support her are untouchable. They are you can only report them to God. You cannot check them. The committees of Parliament had been reduced to something like if they even ever put out a report, the report does not make sense. You know, it is the speaker who now becomes the report, who now becomes the committee. Committees like Kosase, Park, and whatever had lost all their little power. We know that the powers of those committees are a bit challenged in the system that we are in, but they were worse more with Amongu's leadership.
And also speaking about the committees, just sorry to interact, remember the point whereby talking about the Uganda Airlines report. Yeah.
So if we had COSASA investigating Uganda Airlines and then the report just disappears like that, someone sits on it, it does not even get discussed. We have bills whereby the minority report hardly gets even a minute on to be read. Members on the opposition even struggle to even say a word. I think if we had continued in that way, and had this other parliament also come in the same way, we would not even breathe.
I know. That's true.
We would not even breathe. So having such an investigation at the start of parliament, I think, one, it is rebooting parliament and giving parliament back its powers, and also whipping in advance members of parliament that may likely to be corrupt and also very arrogant to people. And also, whoever will become speaker after this will know that there is life after speakership.
Well, we shall return after going into a short commercial break. You know, the corruption at Parliament has been intertwined with the speakership race. But we shall be looking deeper into the corruption wrought at Parliament, where several of them have been summoned at CID and several of them are in hiding. Keep it LC Africa, the Content Factory. We are in Sense and Noise.
Mu mutima gwa Uganda mulimu ekimere ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye. Engano ya Jiko nga ekolebwa nations. Mu mutima gwa Uganda mulimu ekimere ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye. Engano ya Jiko nga
The first time the Parliament of Uganda has been marked as a crime scene. Since Uganda's independence in 1962, it is the first time that the offices of the Speaker of Parliament have been marked with words like crime scene. Raymond.
That's a nice line you've said there.
You entered Parliament that day in vigor because you know you are blacklisted from Parliament.
Thrown out of
so
Parliament.
Your team enter Parliament covering the crime scene. How did it feel to
return
see
to
that
Parliament?
Uganda is breaking another record of having a speaker?
First of all, I want to thank Susan Nsiviwa, our MD. I know it is El South Africa, but this is Susan Nsiviwa, our MD of Nation Media Group. Thank you for being steadfast and steering us as one company. So we went back to Parliament, and we could say that it was a walk of glory. Then you can say that Arsenal won the cup, the Premier League.
After 23 years.
So we went back to Parliament. Unfortunately, that the day we went back to Parliament, I went back to Parliament, is the day that the CID was there to comb the Speaker's office and the office of the clerk. So we go to Parliament, the vehicles are coming in, we enter Parliament, and then at the entrance, they say, so we're not sure about where they're going to go. So we follow them in the corridors until we go to the 5th floor where the speaker sits. So all of us didn't know that, because in parliament structure they say the speaker is supposed to sit on the upper floor.
On the 6th floor.
Thank you so much.
She refused to sit there after the death of Olanyi.
So they go to the 5th floor, and then all detectives are swarming into action, holding the suitcases, the big ones, the veras, the envelopes, and all that. They're like, okay, let us hold on. Before we knew it, there's a sticker,
Crime
placard,
scene.
crime scene. You're not allowed to access this place. But then also, funny how is that the story that was written by the Daily Monitor, our sister company, is that they showed that a day before, the speaker had called a cleaner to shred and get all the information from the office. But what you should know is this, is that in Parliament, the way you can have a home, the way you can have you and your mother have a plot of land, and whenever you're going to buy land, you tell your mom, I've bought land, let me give you a copy, and then I save you the copy. Parliament works in a way that in whatever business you do, you share your contents with the deputy speaker. Understand? Maybe you cannot share them with the LOP, but the deputy speaker, because at the end of the day, you are like commissioners. So even if Among shredded all the evidence, Tayewa still has the same papers in his office. So it's not going to do anything to save her. If you're looking at that.
But the reports say that even the cleaner, after managing to take the
papers
to AAA, he was intercepted by by detectives at the Nakasero home.
Yeah, because they are following her.
Yeah.
Actually, by the way, what we do know is that Hassan, is that I think this thing of interdicting the speaker has been going on silently, but it just come out to blow up just at once. Why am I saying this? Is because I think someone was monitoring her movements, her meetings she was having. Because remember, at that time whereby the interdiction came in about corruption, she had a party at Speaker's Watch the next day to meet all newly sworn in MPs, to meet them and, speak about her.
And the directive from security was that
do not meet anybody.
And who was at the helm of it? Sabit. And that was called off. So, in all this, you see that...
Who has since changed his biography.
In all this, I think what we are looking at is that the state is allowing us to see what we want to see as the public. But there is more than what we see in regards to corruption. It is possible because, you see, everything that has been taken by the security forces from the car has been hinged under Anita Among Foundation. Not the speaker, Anita Among Foundation. So that means all the money that she has been using...
And surprisingly, when you look into the records, Anita Foundation physical location is Chotera.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you also?
Very much so. I'm surprised. I'm in shock actually. I'm very surprised. Because I thought that the foundation offices would be closer, like maybe in Kampala. Or even
at most
Bukedea. Thank you so much. But Chotera, and also another thing also is that, I don't know, maybe...
Now being in Chotera, does that bring in another big shot of a person from Chotera?
I won't go into that.
Let me first have Joshua.
but before Joshua comes in, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking from a point whereby maybe I don't have enough in regards to money, but I looked at the cars that were taken by police, and some of them had dust. Like, what is going on? Why would you immense all those cars for what purpose, really? Maybe I'm speaking from a point whereby I don't have a lot, but even the little I have, I feel like, okay, I don't speak like the speaker. I feel like I've not overachieved, but I'm going there. But all those cars, if you look at the Mercedes-Benz were taken out, it was all dusty. Joshua, you can take it away. Joshua is still in shock.
And as Joshua comes in, we are told that the parking lot for the speaker was like a parking
car bond.
Just yesterday in the evening, I don't know if you saw the tweet of Daily Monitor. The cars that were on the speaker's...
that were attached to the speaker's office.
The motorcade of the speaker's office was all taken back to Parliament. Remember, before Anita Among became speaker, she had a bulletproof car. Remember that car? And then she told Parliament to buy that car for her.
Buying it from herself.
No,
for herself.
Parliament buy the car for her to be using. You understand? The same car has been towed.
Well, we can start from there. Because security is also worried and they're inquisitive of why a speaker of Uganda is moving in a bulletproof car, while that immunity is only to the president of the country.
Well,
From there.
okay. For the cars, Annette Among, I'm so proud of you that you did not read anything to do with 48 Rules of Power. So proud of you that your boss orders for chicken, your boss orders for beans, you order for chicken. These cars, Rolls Royce, from the first son to the president, to even the history of all these 3 power centers of government, nobody has driven such expensive cars.
True.
We know very well that there's that smaller Benz in size that the president always comes in with, most on bigger functions, and right now it had become something very common and worthy, not fancy as it used to be, because the speaker also had it and had not actually not one but almost 2, I think. So I always looked at it as a time bomb, from the expensive clothes, from the expensive to the expensive cars, to how she walks in, the security detail, the big budget, the huge workforce at Parliament, those who have things to do and those who have nothing to do, assistants of assistants.
All that our man did not get a job, Hassan.
Yeah, well,
I was well.
I don't know how you fail to.
Not to get a job.
No, I already had one.
Because it's like these jobs were just there. You pick as you wish.
I thought Tamale would be better positioned to get one than me, because he's actually
he wasn't a friend to Chris Obori and the likes of Joseph Sabiti. So
one thing I can fault them is that in 2023 we got accredited as an online media house, and then a year after it was reversed. I don't know why.
Who?
So
Central Media?
Yes, I will ask Obore one time whether it was worth withdrawing a license, and yet he's in the coolers, and we're looking for him. Obore, thank you. I was not happy with you. You can continue from there.
They suspected you
That
to
is the
be
part of
some
noise of this program.
some sort of Lugalo. Maybe you would have started the investigation before it should. But you see, what I wanted, what a speaker should have looked at is how the rest of the people in power, those bigger than her, the likes of, if you're given a big job in this government, I think it is important that you study the likes of General Salim Saleh, how they conduct themselves. It is important that you study the first family, how it conducts itself, how they go about their extravagant or kind of expensive lives. If you do not see any member of the first family driving around big cars, being, they would be the all-knowing of Rolls Royce and big cars in this country. The likes of Natasha would be on expensive trips each and every weekend. They would be putting on the most expensive clothes every weekend. The likes of Saleh would be driving very big expensive cars. Because we know that these people have access to all this power and money. President Museveni himself, man even put on the usual shirt on his swearing-in ceremony. That shirt, I don't know how much it may cost, but I think
it is made from ginger.
By Uganda.
By Uganda, build Uganda.
Not impossible.
That white shirt could be costing around 25,000.
Yeah, around there, 25 or 30.
So the president puts on a shirt that any Ugandan can land on in the market and buy at 25 or 30,000 shillings. Then for you are buying dresses worth 7 million and above.
It was 34 when swearing in.
34 million.
Yes.
then you buy expensive cars as expensive that no first family member has bought. So you need to understand that you are not you do not have much more concrete DNA to have all that. You need to understand your limits. You need to look at how the rest of the people are conducting themselves for you not to actually take yourself as the most privileged person. The more you take yourself as the most privileged person, you have all these cars, you have everything, you have too much use of money that you need to understand that that will be danger to you.
Well, last week, police usually has a weekly presser. The police cancels out the press conference on Monday. Until now, they haven't addressed the press, by the way. And there is so much information that is into the public domain, most of which is not right and accurate, and some of which is accurate. As a journalist, are you worried that the police is not doing its job of addressing the country on what it's doing in the investigations of Anita?
I believe the police is doing its job. The issue here is about whom do you report to? Because if you see the Daily Monitor story that was written by Benson Tumusime, the people who are in charge of this investigation, you have DCI, you have SFC, you have Crime Intelligence, you have CID. So by the fact that all of those are collecting information, by the time Chituma is coming out to speak, even the questions are going to ask him, he should become sure about the information he has. So until then, it is going to be he said, she said.
Well, I think they are caught between the woods.
And you can't fault them by
because
that.
This is the first investigation in the country, in the history of
that
Uganda,
has public interest.
that has taken long. Because you see, the notion has always been that they first arrest you, then they do investigations.
Why are they not even? Because
but this time, they have showed Ugandans that you can actually first investigate
and then arrest.
Then arrest.
I think in all this, what we're looking at is that the police is enjoying its sweet ride in this investigation in regards to corruption. Why am I saying this? The time we got the Rolls Royce, I was part of the team that has been
that were in Chigo.
That has been covering what has been.
I hear the house in Chigo is like a hotel, 5-star.
It is a very good house, by the way. It is a very good house.
Bulletproof glasses.
No, I don't know about the glasses.
No, that has been confirmed by Monitor.
I don't know about it.
But you who are in that house, have you seen her anywhere?
I've not been inside the house, sir. I was at the periphery of the home.
And they say you move about 2 kilometers from the gate to the house.
Yes, it has 2 gates. There's a lower gate
and then the upper gate.
So it's sitting on a very big acreage of land. But also, what I'm saying is that the time they picked the Rolls Royce from home and the Range Rover that had 888, I kept on asking myself, why is this guy going to pass? So we go to the expressway, we go to Munyonyi, we go to Gaba. From Gaba, you think, because all of us knew that this car is going to be taken to Chivuli. We go to Arena Mall, reaching Arena Mall, we think
they instead go to Naguru.
No, we were thinking maybe they're going to use industrial area, and then, funny how,
Central Business District.
Yes, we go to Clock Tower. And everywhere we're passing, people are saying, a centers are fair, a centers are fair. And even you could see some ladies saying, God, what type of car is that? So, what am I saying? Police is enjoying this sweet.
But did they have to do it during the day?
No, I think they did it to humiliate.
It is more like, thank you so much.
Yes,
it is more like investigate, but at the same time, shame.
Shame and humiliate.
Thank you. In that, even if right now, let me tell you one thing. Among is not good. Among as herself, she has been a very hardworking woman, and she will have the money. Even when you take all this,
prominent money lender at the Winton.
She'll have her money. Even when all this happens. What is happening right now is that when the shame and investigations are going on, what is going to happen is that she might not lose her personality as Among, but she's going to lose the people who have been close to her, because no one is going to come close to her to associate with her.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they will think, what if I am?
Also, if they have preferred criminal charges against her.
What if I am the next? You understand? So the issue is not about Among, because Among will have money. And I have a feeling, by the way, what you have seen in the media is little to what she has. Because first of all, before she came into this whole thing of NRM, leaving FDC to come to NRM. She had that money.
Yeah,
She had that money.
They say she was a car dealer, deals
Yeah,
in
she had
selling
that
cars,
money.
so
She had that money.
she had her own money, but
Yeah.
they are saying that she has amassed so much wealth.
Was
in
she
the
as
years.
splashy as she is today?
No.
No, she was not. But on the good side of it is that I do appreciate her because as a Catholic like her, she was really giving to the church. And that's, I give a plus to her.
Which she erred, because there's a church where she contributed almost 10 times more than the principal.
Okay.
So yes, giving out the church is good.
Outshining your master.
But in
please.
They
Urubaga,
say the program is about sense and
sense and
noise.
so I'm
I'm
speaking
adding,
out.
I'm adding silence now.
Outshining your master. I've told you, she did not reach the 48 rules of power. How do you contribute more than the owner of money?
Now, as we wind up this program, let us first dedicate some time. Now, today, SEC is sitting.
Okay, good. I thought you were skipping the speakership race and going to the end of the show.
No, it's actually SEC is sitting in the interest of the speakership race, so that's how I'm going.
Right.
So
SEC is sitting today,
Yeah.
and the main item on agenda is they want to conclude the speakership race by reversing what SEC had passed earlier to endorse Anita and Tayewa, because Anita has formally withdrawn from the race. She posted this on her X handle 2 days ago, saying she has not been forced. She's going to support willingly any
Candidate endorsed.
candidate endorsed by NRM. But you see, Norbert has already written to NRM. The Honorable Chairman Mao is saying that he wants to subject himself into a process to NRM so that he becomes their flag bearer.
No.
And also having a both. In your own perspective, let me start with you. Is it feasible for Mao to be NRM's flag bearer, or it's done and dusted by both?
First of all, I covered Norbert Mao's press conference this Tuesday. On Tuesday. Norbert Mao, whatever he spoke in that press conference was just some kicks of a dying horse. Because,
In your own perspective?
yes, in my own perspective. Because he looked like someone who had lost all hopes, but had hopes in a neighbor's house that he has no control about. Yeah. So way back, when this whole investigation had not come through, we looked at the speakership race just about Norbert Mao and Anita Mong. Both had not come in the picture. The moment the investigations started, everything turned around. So Norbert Mao looked like he was caught by surprise of all these events, and as well as both. In the press conference, his statements looked like he was just cursing
He was cursing who?
a village called Mukono.
Did NRM did NRM ask him to bring fewer members to the house?
No, whatever the case of bringing the fewer members, for him, he says they have their cooperation agreement that was sanctioned and
expired
blessed
by
by God. It expired.
Yes, it did. Didn't it expire several the other day?
I
When
said-
the president
I
was-
said I would choose silence at the end of the
Okay.
So now, Norbert Mao has no voters. He has to rent voters from NRM. Because as a DP member, I think the best he would have done this Chisanja was to directly become an NRM member, so he can get a chance even in caucus. If caucus is sitting today and you're still begging to be allowed in a bedroom that you did not initially belong to, and then ask for the biggest seat in the bedroom to be speaker, as if that very
And now you see,
setup.
Kama is really different. Hits bad. You see, he was saying Triple A was saying this one
cannot come to the
Cannot come to the bedroom.
Now this one cannot even reach compound. The other was saying.
So, but as the NRM caucus sits, I feel like NRM is being too overpowered. Is being too overpowered if it does not come out with its own candidate. Because how could PLU, a pressure group, prescribe and directly bring a candidate on behalf of the NRM caucus? If it comes and stamps if it comes and stamps PLU's decision and pronouncement, then it will seem like we have set precedent that whatever PLU says
It was saying we are directing all our PLU leaning MPs.
Whatever the case. But if the NRM caucus today...
How many they are?
Who?
PLU leaning MPs.
Well, there's no clarity about it.
248. So where does NRM stand?
But PLU is a pressure group, right?
Yes,
And NRM is a political party,
that is
yes?
true. That is true.
So,
and they do not
all
want
these
to bring-
200
they
that
don't
we are
want to-
talking about,
They want to bring a
have
candidate
NRM
who
flags.
is PLOU leaning, in as much as is in NRM, but PLOU leaning
Because first of all, both be nominated and all this. He's an NRM candidate.
and PLOU.
Thank you so much.
I feel like NRM itself
Thomas Saeva is NRM. but
I feel like NRM itself is being is becoming powerless if it comes out at the end of the day and kind of without any debate goes with the choice that we have on table of both. Now, I feel like it should have energy in life in itself to bring a candidate.
Let me leave you with also making this statement about Mwiru throwing himself into the ring also.
Of course, for Mwiru and the opposition also doesn't have to be very come out as powerless, quiet, and
There
without
is a notion that
any
people,
opinion.
that there are among people that are dissatisfied, disappointed, can go for Mwiru. Do you buy into that thought?
Do they have that energy?
No, just say, do you have the numbers?
Well, about the numbers, it's about making.
Make sure
For the opposition, it's about make sure the Masoka don't get the
I'm now at you. We have SEC today.
Yeah.
You know what is going to happen.
By the way, the biggest way will be at 7 p.m. today, because that's when SEC is going to decide on whose names are going to be fronted in the parliamentary.
Won't Stabs haven't served us with the intel. You know, he's now the kingpin now on internet. Now you can continue from there.
But also the funny thing, okay, one thing I want to understand is, okay, not to understand, that will get my attention, is to see if she will show up in that meeting.
Who?
Anita Among.
She won't, because one, they have
But she's a SEC member.
they have taken all her class.
She can be.
She can be a border
They
border.
have withdrawn all the
she can be.
all the motorcade for the speakership. Once still there is an investigation today in Okedia, which she must be around when they are doing the search.
No, all that can happen. But
I visited her yesterday and she said she has some sort of little freedom.
Yes,
so
she does, but house arrested in Nakasero.
I want to cheer her on. Please attend SEC, Anita Among.
Thank you so much.
Attend.
My issue is.
So you are actually do what?
No, because she's a member.
And do what?
No, because she's a member.
She's a member.
She's a member of SEC, by the way.
Her voice should
You can't
be
rule her
heard.
out.
No, that's true.
Former speaker.
You can't rule her out.
And SEC is discussing.
You can't rule her out.
And SEC is discussing her position.
But more so, I have a feeling that, and I hope you can cut this out at the end of the day and share it. The numbers that are given out, the numbers that were given out by the first son and appeal you, then 001, 005, and all those, they will, at one point you in the cabinet, those names will come up on that list.
Okay, your parting shots?
My parting shots is that LC Africa is the best.
Right. Joshua?
Well, for cabinet, one thing I want to see is whether Mao, of course, I'm sure Mao is going to miss out on speakership, so that by the end of today he will be hanging, and he will only now be on the mercy of the list to surface on the list of cabinet. And I pray he doesn't also miss on the list of cabinet to remain hanging. So then I expect maybe the numbers or the number of cabinet or the size of cabinet to be bigger than usual.
No, it can't.
It can't.
He has to first go to parliament.
Okay, whatever the case, but PLOU may have much more influence on the numbers, and whoever subscribes and prizes and is in good books of PLOU may have more chances by next week. But I pray my friends get and my haters don't get.
Well, this is Sense and Noise, LC
ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye eŋŋano ya Jiko nga ekolebwa ab'amaganjo Grain Millers. Kola ebyokulya eby'omulembe nga okozesa Jiko owomerwe. Nations. Mu mutima gwa Uganda mulimu ekimera ekyenjawulo era nga kijiddwamu omutindo ogusukkulumye eŋŋano ya Jiko nga ekolebwa ab'amaganjo Grain Millers. Kola ebyokulya eby'omulembe nga okozesa Jiko owomerwe.